Hello, I'm Logan Hong, mechanical engineering major, and I'm running for auxiliary director. Ever since I attended my first APSA Sports event, which is hosted at the ARC by Josh, I knew I wanted to get more involved. This single event was so much more than a fun activity for me. I got to connect with other GBM'ers and even board members, and honestly, it made me feel like I have found a community. It even sparked a personal interest in climbing, which I still do today. That experience really opened my eyes to how impactful the role of auxiliary director truly is. After being a shadow and looking through the responsibilities of aux director, it seems very simple on paper. But I believe that the auxes are some of the most important aspects of APSA. They're a place for people to connect through shared passions and to find a place of belonging. And I want to help others find their place like I did. I believe that the best way I can do that through my skill set is through aux director. I believe that I'm a very strong fit for this role. I have previous experience as a rally commissioner, where I coordinated school-wide rallies and worked closely with a large team to make sure everything ran smoothly. As well as a branch officer and president for an AAPI cultural club in high school, where I help organize community events and socials. On top of that, I've worked in the service industry for 2 years, which has helped me develop very strong communication skills, and I've learned how to collaborate in both team-based and professional environments. As an aux director, I would also lead APSA Sports, which I'm really excited about. Fitness is a very big part of my life, though not as often right now. I work out a lot, and I've played in various intramural sports from basketball to bowling. In the future, I want to continue hosting regular APSA Sports events and add more to what we have to offer. Ideally, it'd be beginner-friendly activities such as runs, off-campus hikes, or even make a beginner workout group. Just something so that everyone can find something that fits their interests and comfort levels. All in all, my goal is to create a space to find both new friends and passions. I want to help strengthen the sense of community that makes APSA so special, and I'm ready to put in the work to make it happen. I love your support in helping make APSA even more connected and welcoming. Thank you for considering me as your next auxiliary director.
So, as the auxiliary director, you're not only responsible for the sports auxiliary, but for other fall auxes as well. Why do you think your role extends beyond just the sports aux?
My role extends just beyond the sports aux because as an aux head, we need to make sure all the auxes are working together, and there needs to be a middle point for them to communicate and also interact with each other. Because the auxes just being on their own could lead to chaos if they're not very well organized. So the aux director can act as not only as a middleman between the other auxes, but also between the board and aux to make sure we're all on the same page and nice and organized.
Question 2. How would you resolve a conflict between two co-heads where one is doing more work than the other?
My first step would be to talk to both of them individually. I want to know the work that's not being done, what work's being done, has it been delegated to each person, and if it's a problem of someone, if it's a personal problem on one of the auxes, on one of the head sides, I would like to communicate that to the other aux head who may or may not know about it being like any personal issues. If it's not a personal issue, I'd like to talk it out with the one that's not doing as much work and see what we can do so it's less stress for the other aux head that's doing more.
Last question. What strategies do you have for promoting physical activity and encouraging APSA sport participation?
Can you repeat that?
What strategies do you have for promoting physical activity and encouraging APSA sport participation?
I think the best way to encourage things like APSA sports and other auxes is to use social media, since GBMs are a great option, but not everyone can make GBMs. So the Instagram is a great place to check, or other social media sources. But after social media sources, definitely the GBM, and even on top of that, I'd like to use it by word of mouth if I can convince anybody I can to go and visit our auxes and find new passions for them.
We'll open the QR code.
As my twin under Josh Co., I know you're a big extrovert and great at communicating. However, communication alone isn't always enough when it comes to hosting events. For example, if a GBM'er wants to play a sport that's not commonly played, like cricket, how would you go about organizing an event that encourages others to try out this new sport?
That's actually something I thought about when I was just considering the responsibilities of being an aux director. I think a great thing to do for APSA Sports is to perhaps make a form for anyone who wants to try out a sport and they don't know how to get into it. Maybe something just like a quick Google form on GBM slides, just be like, hey, what kind of sports do you want to try? And then they can input their own answers from there.
How will you integrate each aux into our greater APSA event sport? How will you give visibility for auxes aside from sports?
Like I said, a great tool for advertising auxes is social media. I know we already have a way to advertise our auxes through social media. We also advertise our auxes through GBM, and I also think that's a great way to advertise. Other methods, word of mouth, like I said before, and I think that's pretty much all I have.
Next question. Some auxes are more popular than others. How do you plan to support auxes that may be struggling with attendance?
One thing I would do is definitely talk to the aux heads and see what they think, because I'm not the one that's running it, and I want to know their opinions too on having members and what they think members would be interested in. And again, the advertising it out on social media and GBMs is a great approach, but I think it's very nice to have the aux heads involved. Maybe they can talk about it because they have more insight than I do on their own auxes. Maybe they can come to GBM if they can make it and be like, hey, this is what we do at maybe media or something like that, and they can just talk about it and maybe get more people convinced to join.
Next question. Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you, Logan.